Coming up on Bear News. Looking for green alternatives to burials? Well, we have a report. Do you know how much water the fashion industry uses each year? More on that coming up.
Out what I think is not reliable, sticking with what I think is reliable.
Want to know more about weather metrics? We sat down with a UNC alum. Bear News starts now. Good afternoon and welcome to Bear News. I'm Josephine Walter. Breaking news, the Student Senate is hosting a meeting tonight to discuss the closure of the German, French, and European Studies departments. The meeting will be held at 6 p.m. in the University Center Council Room across from the information desk on the second floor. The meeting will discuss concerns about our program cuts and tenured faculty teaching core courses. There is also a rally planned tomorrow for the founding gates to discuss the program closures and push for additional transparency as to why they are being discontinued. According to the flyers, participants should gather on 10th Avenue between 18th and Cranford at 11 a.m. We will cover tonight's meeting and tomorrow's rally on Twitter at Bear News UNCO and have a full report on Bear News next week. What happens when we die? That's something many think about when it comes to the idea of afterlife. But one thing many don't consider is what happened to the earth. To put it into context, for every cremation, there are 190 kilograms of carbon dioxide released, which is relatively the same as driving a car for 470 miles.
Last year, human composting became a green alternative to the cremations and burials in Colorado.
Last year, human composting became a green alternative to burials and cremation in Colorado. This March, the first composition occurred the day of the spring equinox. Many times with green burials, the body is placed in a biodegradable container and transferred into the ground. Some individuals choose to be buried with items you'd find in a garden, seeds for flowers, shrubs, and trees. But don't worry, there is a law prohibiting the soil from being used to grow food. So when the time comes for you to make burial arrangements, consider a green option like human composting. Sanction against Russia continues, as U.S. President Joe Biden and the European Union declared more restrictions on Russian President Vladimir Putin. The sanctions are designed to block Russia from making money in the global economy. Biden is expected to declare a sanction that would prohibit any U.S. citizen from any new investments in Russia. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has accused Russia of committing war crimes as Ukrainian officials say there are mass graves and attacks on civilians. U.S. Secretary of State Antony J. Blinken told officials that NATO will focus on new ways to put pressure on Russia, as the war is far from over. Keep up with Bear News as we keep you updated on the Russian-Ukrainian war. Campus Commons got a lot more colorful. Artists and UNC alum Lydia Ruler's prayer flags are hanging high all around the Commons area. The exhibit is set to honor the legacy and work of Rule, who died in March of 2016. The Little Altars Everywhere series stems from the idea of being a strong woman and features images of goddesses from all around the world. Each flag shows a deeper look into spirituality, allyship, and the divine feminine. The flags are set to celebrate Women's History Month and will be shown through April 8th. Did you know the Grammys happened this weekend? Find out more about the best and worst moments from the award show after this. Did you know that every year the fashion industry uses over 1 trillion gallons of water for dyeing fabric alone? Fast fashion refers to the rapid trend cycles of fashion and mass production of ill-made clothing that pollutes the earth. Bear News reporter Andrea Grajeda tells us more about the problem.
When we go shopping for clothes, the environmental impact of them doesn't really cross our minds. Like this pair of jeans alone took about 1,800 gallons of water to make. Fast fashion is one of the biggest polluters in the world. Clothing and textiles take a long time to decompose, and synthetic fabrics made of plastics take even longer, and microplastics pollute the ocean. Catherine Greenwood Swanson, owner of Swanson's Fabric, a fabric and sewing notions thrift store, says that people need to respect fabric more.
If you think about it, from the day you're born till the day you die, you're interacting with fabric 24 hours a day, all the time.
Yeah.
You're touching it, you're sitting on it on a couch. To be so removed from it that you can't even make it yourself, it's like not being able to make a piece of toast.
It's now that's weird. Up until about 60 years ago, every single thing that a person wore was tailor-made for their body, most likely by someone who loved them. Clothing production is as fundamental to human evolution as agriculture. It's now that's weird.
Swanson also says that people need to learn basic mending skills to extend the lifespan of their clothing. Tailoring can range from fitting to your body or adding embellishments to suit your style. The easiest way to fight against fast fashion is to buy secondhand. Thrift stores are going to be your best friend. Basic mending skills are a must. Something as simple as sewing a button back on can really help the environment. I recognize that being environmentally conscious while shopping can truly be a drag, and it shouldn't be up to the consumer to try to save the environment if it's these big companies that are polluting the earth. However, any small action helps. So remember, wear longer, go to thrift stores, and basic mending skills. Reporting for Bear News, I'm Andrea Grajeda.
Thank you, Andrea. I love shopping at thrift stores, and I'm glad it's good for the environment too. There's always something exciting happening in music. So, Robin, did anything new happen this past weekend?
Well, Josie, did you or anybody else watch the Grammys this Sunday? I mean, yeah, it's the biggest night in music, but I feel like every single year we have the exact conversation about whether or not the Grammys are even still relevant. Yeah, they pull a lot of talent, and getting a Grammy can sometimes make your career. But I don't think a single year has gone by where the Recording Academy didn't make a lot of people angry. This year, though, it seems like there wasn't even a decision bad enough to warrant too much publicity, or good enough to warrant publicity. Still, I am a music reporter, so it is my rite of passage to talk about how bad the Grammys' decisions are, then forget all that to celebrate when someone I like wins. So today, we're going to be talking about my picks for the 3 worst and 3 best decisions that were made this Sunday. Remember, this is all opinion, and everything I'm about to say is 100% fact because I said so. Starting off with bad decision number 1, Louis C.K. winning Best Comedy Album. They gave Louis C.K. a Grammy in 2022. I feel like I really don't even have to say anything more than that. Now for good decision number 1, Leave the Door Open by Silk Sonic winning Record of the Year. Honestly, I was kind of impressed with how stacked this category was, to the point that the Academy could have made a few different decisions that I would have been totally happy with. Whether it's better than the title track from Billie Eilish's Happier Than Ever or Lil Nas X's Montero is up to personal taste, but Leave the Door Open is such a jam that I can't be mad it got picked. Bad decision number 2, they didn't nominate Pharoah Sanders for anything. You know, Pharoah Sanders, one of the most influential jazz musicians of all time, the guy who has a career spanning more than half a century and pioneered an entire subgenre of jazz back in the 60s, the man who worked with John Coltrane. Yeah, he had an album come out in 2021 that didn't get nominated for any categories, not even Best Instrumental Jazz Album. And look, I know not a lot of people heard that new album, and I totally get why the Academy wouldn't want to nominate an obscure album that nobody's ever heard of. But the thing is, they already do that. Pharoah Sanders' album sold better than some of the albums that were nominated. Not only that, but if the Academy wants to recognize big-name legacy acts, giving at least a nomination to one of the last surviving members of the golden age of jazz seems like kind of a no-brainer. Good decision number 2, St. Vincent winning Best Alternative Album. It would have been cool to see Japanese Breakfast win this category, but I'm at least glad we can all still agree that St. Vincent slaps. Bad decision number 3, Dr. Luke got a Grammy. Again, whatever your feelings on Kiss Me More by Doja Cat are, it's weird that Dr. Luke is still producing songs that win Grammys, right? Kesha made a song about how she was abused by Dr. Luke, and that song got nominated for a Grammy. Now that same Academy is giving another award to the guy that song was about. Between this and the Louis C.K. win, it seems like the Academy might not be as devoted to justice as they claim to be. On a lighter note, good decision number 3. Bo Burnham won Best Song Written for Visual Media for the climactic song All Eyes on Me from his Netflix special Inside. Inside has been talked to death, and I'm by far the first person to say that it's an amazing piece of art, but I am glad that All Eyes on Me was the song that got recognized. Not only is it the emotional crux of the whole special, it's just a genuinely well-made song even outside of the special's context. So that was the Grammys. Some really bad decisions, some pretty good ones, and another year of mind-numbing discourse about whether any of this actually matters. Yay? Anyways, as always, if there's anything you want to see covered on Bear News Tunes, let us know at bearnews98@gmail.com or DM us on Instagram at bearnewsunco.
Well, Robin, even though it wasn't as eventful as the Oscars, it looks like a lot of things still happened at the Grammys. Still to come, learn about how long this windy weather will last.
When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. When you don't know where to turn, let 211 be your guiding light.
211, how can I help you?
Our guides are ready to connect you with the help you need. For help with food, healthcare, mental health, and other resources, call 211 or visit 211.org. 211. Get connected, get help.
As easy as it is to check an app out or look out the window to see the weather, it can be difficult to fully understand those numbers and percentages. Bear News reporter Angel Padilla sat down with Cody Wilson at the a UNC alum that grew tired of not getting the full picture from just an app.
You know, I've had a keen interest and fascination in the weather since I was like 6 years old. I grew up in Eastern Oregon on a farm. I knew farming wasn't what I wanted to do my whole life, but I discovered my passion for weather early. Graduated from high school in 2008, was accepted to the meteorology program here at UNC. In the fall of 2008, that's when I started my undergraduate program, and I graduated in the spring of 2012. UNC, despite being in a large four-year Division I university, still offers the small, intimate feeling, especially in the meteorology program. It's not very big. So I had a lot of really invaluable one-on-one time with a lot of my professors. Dr. Shelato was my academic advisor for my junior and senior year. She's a paleoclimatologist here at UNC. Dr. Paul Nutter, who was my dynamics professor, who now works for the National Weather Service in Great Falls, Montana. Just a lot of really good people who were invested in their students, and I got a great education. And there were not a lot of opportunities in the government sector and the private sector, as many as 400 applicants for every job opening. And a lot of those people that were applying had previous work experience. So you have the choice of taking somebody with 20 years of work experience or somebody who's fresh out of college and the ink on his degree is still wet. And this was in the winter of 2016-2017 when I decided to embrace the spirit of being a business owner and an entrepreneur. And I started in the only place I knew how, which was on social media. And I just created a couple of platforms, which you now know today as Denver and Front Range Weather. And just started sharing with my family and friends, and took the education I learned here at UNC, combined that with my ability to communicate with the public, my forecasting experience, all of that. I just kind of wrapped it up in a bow and started pushing it out on social media. You know, anybody can pull up their phone and look at Apple weather or you know, whatever the Google Play version of that is. And you know, I can take 5 or 10 seconds, I can scroll through, it'll tell me what the temperature is going to do and maybe what the weather is going to do if it's right. What it doesn't give you is me. And with my experience, I love to be very honest, open and transparent about what goes into the weather forecasting process. At the Environmental Prediction Center in Washington, D.C., there is a bunch of complicated forecast model algorithms that we use to help forecast the weather. Anywhere from every hour up to about 10 days in advance. And what I like to do is I look at all of them. I look for commonalities, I look for what they have in common, I look for what's different, and then I cross-reference that with analog data, which is weather that has happened in the past. Over the past 30 to 50 years, we cross-reference that information with my understanding of local climatology, and basically I just take you through a process of weeding out what I think is not reliable, sticking with what I think is reliable, and then taking all of that information, disseminating it, putting it in language that everybody understands, and then I spit out what people then perceive as a weather forecast.
So even though weather apps are convenient, it doesn't hurt to get a bit of more information from the folks that know it. And for this week's forecast, I made sure to double check with Cody just to make sure I got everything right. So now looking at our weekend ahead, we will continue to be blasted with wind gusts through this evening as the temperature drops into the mid-20s. We'll see a splash of spring on Friday with clear sunny skies and the high around 67. The weekend continues on Saturday with partly cloudy skies and the high around 76 with some small gusts of winds from the southwest. This will continue into Saturday night as wind gusts as high as 25 miles per hour make their way back into the area. Sunday will be a lot cooler with the high around the mid-50s with mostly sunny skies during the afternoon. Temps will drop just below 30 degrees in the evening as more wind continues to pound the Front Range. As we peek ahead into next week, we could be seeing the last hurrah of winter as the storm moves in on Monday night, bringing a near 52% chance of rain that may develop into snow on Tuesday. A chance for snow increases moving into Wednesday, with the temperature settling just around 40 degrees. While we may have started to adjust to the spring weather, winter may have one more statement to make in Colorado. That's all I've got for you today. Try not to get blown away, and I'll see you next week.
While I'm looking forward to the wind to end, I'm not looking forward to the chance of snow. How much do you know about UNC athletics? Learn about 5 standout athletes when we come back.
Before I started at CETL, it was disorganized.
My lessons were the same all the time.
I think I've become much more strategic about drawing on students' prior experience in order to enhance their learning.
Making sure that my standards as a professor were very high, but also enabling students to be successful in my class with a variety of strategies.
Quite frankly, one of the most important to me has been my addressing the diversity, equity, inclusion issues.
I think definitely keeping in mind that I need to engage the students in what I'm teaching.
I feel like students feel more enthusiastic about the class, and then they come more, and when they come more, they're going to do better.
I think the most valuable thing that I've gotten out of CETL has been kind of the community of support.
It was actually knowing that every single semester I need to engage something that makes me a better teacher.
CETL is a great way to enhance your learning, especially if you're struggling with certain areas.
After another tournament, college basketball has finally crowned a champion. Hunter, how did the Final Four play out?
Josie, it certainly played out unlike any Final Four in recent memory. With 4 top programs making it to New Orleans in one of the greatest rivalries in sports meeting for the first time in tournament history, it made for exciting basketball. But I want to take a moment to ask a question after watching the games this weekend. When was the last time we considered college basketball program to be a dynasty? Since 2006, the NBA has required players to be at least 19 years old and 1 year removed from graduating high school. This began the one-and-done era, where highly ranked basketball players would attend a college of their choice for 1 year and then declare for the NBA draft. This is why a different team is winning the championship every year. Each season, programs are having to reload since guys are leaving so quick. So how did we get to this point? Well, a guy by the name of LeBron James, you might have heard of him, came into the league at 18 years old and has spent his whole adult life playing basketball. Since then, young players have followed in his footsteps in trying to get to the NBA as fast as possible. I believe in most cases, players go to the NBA too soon, because not everyone is LeBron James, who was physically and mentally ready to go pro at a young age. Back in the day, you saw a lot more college players staying until their junior or senior year. Young adults choose to go to college to grow, learn, and evolve as people, and young athletes should hold the same mindset. You don't usually see regular people going to college for 1 year and then say, "I'm ready for my career." Instead of one and done, players could and should choose to stick around college. They could grow a little more, become physically stronger, and we would see college teams play better basketball overall. This may just be me, but teams with chemistry and continuity are the ones who thrive and win, and that takes time to build. With players staying longer, coaches wouldn't have to rebuild teams as fast and could build a team capable of making multiple title runs, like the Duke teams of the early 90s. So, for athletes and students alike, don't rush into your life's work. You have plenty of time to get to where you want to go. Now, last week, I did Phipps's picks over the NFL offseason moves, but this week, I'm making a list that hits a little closer to home. Today, I'm unveiling my top 5 UNC athletes of all time. So sit back and get ready for a little UNC sports history lesson. Coming in at number 5, we have Aaron Smith. Who is this? This dude was a Rough Rider for the Bears and was selected in the 4th round of the 1999 NFL Draft by the Steelers. Smith went on to play 13 seasons in the NFL and won 2 Super Bowls with Pittsburgh and was a Pro Bowler in 2004. This dude is a warrior and deserves to be on this list. Now to number 4, Reed Doughty. Now, not only was this dude a beast on the field, but he excelled in the classroom, maintaining a 4.0 GPA through his time at UNC. He was drafted by Washington in the 6th round of the 2006 NFL Draft and went on to play 8 years in the NFL and was named captain for special teams in his last season. Being an elite athlete and an academic weapon definitely puts him on this list. Let's go to number 3, Bill Kenny. Now, this guy is a legend for sure. He was a quarterback for the Bears back in the mid-70s for 2 seasons before being drafted in the 12th round in 1978. He ended up on the Kansas City Chiefs and thrived, playing 10 seasons there that included a Pro Bowl appearance back in 1983. Kenny didn't shine when he played for the Bears, but certainly made UNC proud by going on to have success in the NFL. Now at number 2, Vincent Jackson. Out of the football players on this list, he is the best of them all. He was the highest draft pick UNC has ever seen, going in the 2nd round of the 2005 NFL Draft, and he showed that he was worthy. Jackson played 12 seasons in the NFL, racking up 3 Pro Bowl appearances, and he also holds various UNC football records and even played basketball too. He led the team in scoring during his 2 seasons, so this dude was an athlete, and we lost him way too soon. God rest his soul. But he doesn't top this list. That's right. That belongs to Justin Gaethje. He was an all-conference first-team wrestler during his time here in Greeley and consistently made it to the NCAA championships. Then he explored martial arts and found more success. He worked his way up, becoming the interim UFC lightweight champion. Gaethje makes us all proud here at UNC, and so does the rest of these legends on the list. But there you have it, another list down. What do you think of my picks, Josie?
Hunter, I certainly learned a lot. I didn't know there were so many successful athletes to come through Greeley.
Me too. It just goes to show you that you can be successful anywhere you go, especially here in Greeley.
Absolutely. When we come back, learn about the Student of the Week.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. Those 9 months were also 273 days of planning. What about your daughter's first costume party? It was out of this world. And let's not forget those barbecues you plan in detail for your family and your more vegetarian by the day best friends. That surprise party for your parents' golden anniversary? You get the golden planning. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
Here at UNC, we like to feature students that go above and beyond. This week's Student of the Week is Cooper Sanderson. Sanderson is a member of Pi Kappa Pi fraternity, and he plans to graduate this May with a major in accounting with a minor in entrepreneurship. Sanderson is from Parker, Colorado. In his free time, he likes to hang out with friends, snowboard, bike, go camping, watch basketball, and eat hot dogs. If you know any of your peers that you'd like to nominate for Student of the Week, please send them to us through the email on the screen. Thank you for watching. I'm Josephine Walter, and we'll see you on Tuesday for Bear News Now.